Hey, what is up, guys? Wallow J here. I'm here with my co-host Miguelino. Miguelino say what's popping with the peoples.
Was popping to the peoples.
Oh man, that was nice and calm today. That's cool.
Mm.
That's cool.
Look
Our
like you're
other
able.
co-host, he is a dream. The dream. Stephen Aiken. Say hello to the peeps, Stephen.
Hello to the peeps, Steven.
And joining us is PGF Season 6 athlete Nathan Haddad.
What's
I
going
said it
on,
right.
guys? You nailed
Yo,
it,
I
dude.
said I said it right. I'm not one of these schmucks that
My
calls you
bad,
head at.
man. My bad.
Yeah.
Listen, dude,
Like
had a dad. Just had dad. It's good. Whatever you guys want, man. I'm cool.
bro, how you been, man? We saw you season 6 doing some work. I haven't seen
Was
you
that
compete
March?
much, but you said that you were doing some coaching and training. So it's no competition since season 6.
No, I competed in Chicago. I fought at IBJJF Chicago Open a couple weeks ago.
All
Um,
right on.
yeah, I only got one match. There was only one guy in my bracket, but the guy was pretty tough. I wanted a match with him, and so I got that one done. And then yeah, just been chilling since then. So a lot of hard training and here and there when I can hop in some stuff, getting in.
Hell yeah.
When was season 6? What month was that? Oh my god.
It was in April, bro.
April. I was thinking March. In
It's
my mind, I was
crazy.
thinking March, but like April. So like we're just now like September right here. So man, that's only been let me use these fingers here. What's that? May, June, July, August, September. So it's only like 5 months, right?
Yeah, for
But it
sure.
feels like such a long time since then. It feels like there's a lot that's kind of happened in the sport and in the world, even since season 6. Um, for you, lots of training, lots of different things like that. But with your experience from season 6, and I'm gonna go ahead and announce it here. Coming into season 7, how are you
Let's
feeling
go.
as one of the
Feeling
athletes
good.
with some experience this year?
Dude, feeling good. I mean, season six was, I've said it so many times, but it was the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of in jujitsu. And I mean, it's funny, like mentioning the Chicago Open, like, and no disrespect to any other tournament organization, but it was like almost depressing going and like warming up in a bullpen and like waiting for everyone else. Like, dude, this is way like BGF was so much more fun. And so yeah, it's cool. I'm excited to be in season 7, and everything has been shifted for that. So I mean, that's kind of another reason I've been sitting out of a few here and there. Is like I like to prepare a certain way for tournaments, and so I really like I'll take weeks, months out where I plan all my training and plan how I'm going to do my strength conditioning, plan my macros for my food depending on the weight class, and that's kind of been my life since I got the call to come up for season 7.
Bro, so you do like that whole scientific stuff where you're like, oh, I'm gonna count my macros, bro,
Dude,
because I need
I
to be
do as
on
much
point.
as I can. I mean, I try to not leave anything up to chance. I like to just focus on what I can control, and like I can control how much sleep I get a night. I can control what food I eat. I can control how many days a week I lift, how many days a week I train. Um, even to an extent, like I do a lot of like cardio work as well, and like I can control if I'm doing like a cardiac output session, literally what my heart rate is for that hour. That will be beneficial for jujitsu. And so I have great coaches that they help me plan all that stuff out. But yeah, I mean, I try to take a really full on professional approach to jujitsu. I'm lucky because this is what I get to do full time. So even my job is coaching, right? So even if I'm not training, I'm around jujitsu. Um, but yeah, all day, every day, it's filming, studying, working out, drilling, coaching. What I mean, it's all jujitsu encompassed.
Nice, man, dude. And it showed last season.
Thank
As
you,
somebody
man.
that wasn't really like a known competitor coming in, you really like establish yourself as somebody that was like hard to beat for sure, and that you couldn't sleep on because you had really strong attacks on some really high level players. That was 170. This one is 205.
205.
Without giving away maybe too much, like what kind of difference is this going to make for you? Like what do you normally kind of walk around at versus where are you when you're having to make 170s or something like that?
For sure. So, I mean, 170 is low for me. It was a little bit of a struggle. We got to be 177. I mean, it was 175, and then we got a 2 pound
Oh,
allowance.
75.
Um,
Okay.
and that was, I mean, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't fun. You know what I mean? That was like feeling awful in the Vegas heat for a day, and making sure that everything was on point as far as like my water cut. I did a couple of MMA fights at 170, and that was like not a super fun weight cut, but again, doable. When I compete, like not cutting weight, I'll cut a pound or a few pounds at like 188, 190. That's like a pretty comfortable, light meals and maybe get a little sweat on. So like 190, 195 is a good walk around. But both like ADCC trials the last 2 years, I've competed at 88, which is like what 195. So it's not that big of a jump. A lot of the guys that I've fought at trials were the bigger guys in 88. And the strength was never something that I felt like was such a big discrepancy that I just couldn't deal with it. And like I said, I think that goes back to how I seriously approach my strength and conditioning. Again, I have great coaches that do all that for me. And so I just listen to what they tell me to do, lift what they tell me to lift. And I feel pretty strong in my matches. So I'm not too worried about it.
No, that's very interesting too. Also, what you said right there. So, as an athlete, you are the kind of athlete that tends to just listen to your coaches, lean into the teaching that they have and the experience that they have, and you're more or less just letting them make a lot of the hard decisions on a lot of the stuff, and you're just trying to adapt some of their like knowledge and their teaching through this training. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, especially with things that aren't, again, like strength and conditioning is for me jujitsu related, but that's not a skill that I learn in jujitsu. You know what I mean? Like there are guys, and like I said, I'm fortunate with these guys here. Um, my strength conditioning coach, I meet with him, he programs me out, he walks me through it, and that's his life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's a professional in that realm. And so obviously if he wanted to do jujitsu stuff, he would come to me and I could help him with that. But like I don't know, I didn't go to school for strength conditioning, and I could probably make some stuff up, but the guys that I have here, they're just scientific about it. And so I've been working with them for a long time, probably like the last 10 years.
Okay.
And so I really trust them. They know me as a person, as an athlete. They know what I like, what I don't like. They've known about injuries and stuff in the past. And so doing a lot of preventative stuff through them. And I can't speak highly enough about it. I think it's super important. It's kept me healthy. And again, I've noticed a huge change since I really started taking that seriously in competition, because I can just tell when I'm overpowering guys, or even when guys are bigger than me, weight class wise, I haven't really felt undersized, which is pretty good.
So, Meek, I saw you unmuted yourself. You have something to say?
Oh no, I'm just trying to make sure not to interrupt this man because, dude, Nathan, you are obviously, like you're saying, you're keeping it professional. You are training like a professional, living like one. Again, it just should get the fans excited for what you're going to be bringing this upcoming season, man. Like, you get to eat good this time around, man. If you want, get some pizza here and there. You want to be a big baller, get a brewski pitcher, in there as well, man. And dude, get that extra little bulk session you going, but keep it thin crust pizza, right, and light beer. But no, dude, respect for you to that, man. That's something that people don't typically see, right? They just think PGF week, we see you do your best, but they don't realize how much goes into this, right? Especially again, someone in your case, right? You're saying you want to keep it tough when these guys that are potentially coming a little bit heavier than you, but you don't want to feel undersized or under strength, dude. Dude, props to that. Cause I'm over here saying, how can I do this in my life? And I'm just like, you need to live the Nathan Haddad lifestyle, dog. Hyping it up over here, man.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I mean, I really enjoy the process of training. Like I have fun with it. And, I like all the things that I do. So it makes it really easy when, one, it's my job because I'm fortunate enough to be able to teach full time. And two, I just really like doing it. So it works out well.
Nice.
I mean, you've mentioned about your nutrition. I mean, and you see guys, that are competing in the pro levels. They don't take this as seriously. I mean, I've seen guys just scarfing down pizzas, donuts, monsters, all kinds of stuff. I mean, please tell me you're not having any of that in your
No,
diet.
man. I mean, and everybody's a little bit different, right? Like some guys, I mean, they're really, really good. There's a lot of guys that are like have way more credentials than me that probably like have a really crappy diet, and that's cool if that works for them. It just doesn't work for me. I like I said, I notice a difference, and I can tell a difference in my performance. And I wrestled in high school, and so like cutting weight and stuff like that, having to manipulate food was something I was already used to. Um, and so it just made sense when I started working with these guys and they said, okay, you're going to track everything that you eat. And like I said, it works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but it keeps my head on straight. It makes me feel good when I'm training. So I'll keep doing it.
Hell
Are you
yeah.
the type of athlete that journals also, like your training stuff and like maybe some of your mental game stuff? Is that something that's also part of your game? Since you track macros a lot, I'm just curious if that's also something
Yeah,
you do.
mostly like my drills, anything that I'm working on. So, like if I'm studying film, I'll usually keep like just the notes app on my phone. I'll just open it up through and I'll take some like detailed notes and then I'll come up to the gym that day and that'll be like included in my drilling. And then I'll take notes during the drill session, what's working, what's not working. And then that night in training, I usually try to work on what I was drilling. And then by the end of the week, I have kind of a clear picture like, all right, this thing that I was doing some film study on, I can like just go ahead and like puzzle fit it into my game, or like, yeah, I need some more work on this.
Mm.
That's kind of worked for me. And again, it's an easy approach where like I have step one, watch it, step two, drill it, step three, try it live, and then I just repeat the process until it's a part of my game.
Who are some people that you study a lot that you think you like to mimic maybe or pattern your game after some?
Yeah, I mean, man, a big one for me coming up, which is cool now, like knowing him and getting to train with him a lot, is like Wagner Rocha. I watched a lot of his stuff coming up. I was a big fan, and then was fortunate enough to go down there and get some training in with those guys back in like 2020, I think maybe 2019. And since then, have become friends with Wagner and his family, and have been able to go train and get some tips and some advice from him as well. And I just like the style. I think that he fights a forward pressure fighting style all the time. Like my big thing is I just want to be exciting. Like I obviously want to win, and nobody wants to go out there and lose, but I don't like boring matches. I really want to always try to go forward and try to press the pace. And so I think he's somebody that does that in every match that he has. And so I try to kind of emulate that into my game.
Does that ever change your like maybe your match might not be going how you want it? Do you change your way to maybe be more entertaining so that people can get into it?
In
Yeah.
the match, I mean, no, not so much. Like, I feel like at this point of like my career in jiu-jitsu, I do a pretty good job at like staying focused. I used to really struggle with that where I would compete. I would have, say it's a 6-minute match, 4 minutes would be like perfect. And then, you kind of lose focus in the match and things would get away from me because of exactly that, trying to, you know, look a certain way or do something a certain way or be exciting. And what I found is like my style is just exciting if I'm executing. And so if I just stay focused in the match, I typically don't have a problem with that. So I try to just stay like task oriented. I'm going, if I'm on top, I'm looking to pass your guard. If I pass your guard, I'm looking to take your back or mount you. And if I'm there, I'm looking to submit you. And so if I'm just following those tasks, then the match is exciting in itself.
Right on. Now,
Yo,
go ahead, Steven.
oh, y'all heard it here first. Nathan has that dog in him. Just wanted to let everyone know. My bad.
Dude, you heard that last season for sure. If you were anywhere around season 6, you heard that a long time ago, but now you're definitely getting a more in-depth look at the process and the mind of the man there. So it's making a lot more sense now while we saw what we saw.
Yes, sir. It's been a long time, man. I've done jujitsu like all my life, so it's just a lot of years and years of work and dedication to the sport kind of coming to fruition. So I felt like season 6 was a culmination of that, where I kind of got to show people what, I've been saying for years, which is I can hang with the best of these guys, I can beat some of these guys, but I just need a shot to fight them.
Mm.
How did your body feel? Because I mean, we get guys that they come in, 12 matches, that's nothing. I go 10 rounds a night in the gym, all
Yeah,
out, and then come day 2, they're like, oh my god, this is not the same.
yeah.
So how did you feel?
Dude, I mean, knock on wood, I felt great. I mean, I kind of had that mentality through. Like I remember day 3 walking in and just talking to some of the other guys, and guys are feeling really beat up. And I said the whole season, like I have harder weeks of training than this. Obviously there were some soreness, and that adrenaline dump is hard to deal with. But again, my training, like everything that we did, was to peak for that week. And so I did a lot of cardio work. I did a lot of steady state training, a lot of threshold training, just to make sure that my body could recover. And again, we had an idea of like, okay, you're going to get this 6-minute match, and then you're going to have like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So what can I be doing to recover in between those matches, and like proper cool down, proper warm up to make sure that then I can go have my best match. And it worked. I mean, like I said, hopefully I'll have the same success this season with that. But I felt fresh by the end of the last day. I really didn't feel terrible. So that was a good part of last season.
And so then to follow up with that, and I'm not going to ask you to say anybody's name, so don't feel like I'm asking you
Okay.
to like, I don't want you to like throw anybody under the bus for sure. Like, because I did the season as well, and we were in Decatur though. We were in Decatur, Alabama, so there was no like easy access to a bunch of good food or anything, to use to recover as much unless you brought it with you or had like a really solid like plan of what you were doing. Did you feel like you were better prepared maybe with like your food and your recovery and how you were going home at night and what you were doing with sleep and different things than perhaps some of the other people who were in the season who may not have taken post fight or every night and like morning as seriously as far as recovery and eating and what they were supposed to be doing? Because I definitely noticed I was trying to do as much as I could during that week that when I competed, and a lot of guys were like, we're going to Chili's and we're gonna have some margaritas, and like some of those dudes like gave me the hardest matches I had though. So it's
Yeah,
like
dude.
for me that
For
was
some
really
people,
frustrating because it's like, man, fuck this guy. He's going to have
yep.
margaritas. I'm finna choke him, and then like it was one of the hardest matches of the whole season. And so it's just
Yeah.
like, is there something you could speak about that with?
Dude, I mean, I honestly kind of fumbled the bag with my food. I had this whole plan because I was cutting weight. So I was like coming down, and I had like a whole rehydration process, and that worked out well. But food, I like severely underestimated because I didn't have a rental car, and I was staying in a hotel. And so I
Mm,
like severely underestimated the food situation. And then in Kentucky, too, we're 3 hours ahead of Vegas.
mm,
And so we would get out at night, and it's like 10 o'clock in Vegas, and I still like first couple days wasn't super adjusted. And so like it's way past my bedtime. I'm tired. And then I'm like, oh shoot, like I haven't really eaten that much today because you have the pre-competition nerves and stuff. Like I have some food that I like to eat before I compete, but I usually don't eat a whole lot before I compete.
mm,
And so that was one of the more tricky parts, I think, was making sure I like properly fueled because, like I said, I like to eat light before I compete. And then while we were at the venue, I wasn't really eating that much because like I'm in the
mm,
zone. I know I got these 3 matches. And then I'd get back to the hotel. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock here and I haven't eaten since, noon. Like I
mm,
need to eat before tomorrow. And then just walking around like Vegas hotels, trying to find something that I can eat that's not like gonna just mess me up for the next day. I got lucky. I found a place in the hotel that I could get like a steak and rice, and I think I ate there every single night that I
Nice.
was in Vegas, just to like
Hell
keep
yeah.
it consistent. I knew what I was getting, but yeah, I
It's like
really,
Texas Roadhouse indicator, basically same thing. Kind of. They were the
dude,
only thing that was kind of open after we got done. And if
it
you
was
went like
rough. Like I'm planning on this time working with a meal prep company out here, and I'm just gonna
very
fly
smart,
with
man.
like
I
all
think
my
that's smart.
meals and just put in the fridge when I get there. Because
Mm.
night 1 and 2, that was a pretty stressful thing. Just being so exhausted from comp and knowing like, okay, I need to go to bed and do all this, and not having food like set up was kind of tricky. But I did in the mornings, like I had a little bit of a routine that I would get into of like a little bit of a shakeout, like go for a walk. I'd hit like the gym in the hotel just to kind of get a little bit of a sweat going so I wasn't completely stiff. And then eat and then rock up to the venue at 2 when we had to be there.
Mm.
Hey, have you ever had to deal with like the whole media part of it? With like interviews where you coming in, then you got your team, and then you
Some
have a
dude screaming your name
documentary that's
wrong.
being filmed and all that. What are your thoughts on all that was going on?
Dude, I hadn't done any of it. I mean, here and there, been on like some small podcast and, a
Like
couple
us.
little things. But dude, I had no, like day 1, I remember I got there and like Paul was sitting there. He's like, "Hey, you want to do a quick little interview?" I'm like, "Sure." And I was like, still cutting weight, and so he's talking to me. My voice is all dry because I haven't had water the whole day. I'm like, I'm excited to be here, and
Okay.
that was a different experience for sure. Because like I said, I'm used to mostly like IBJJF, and you just show up, compete, go home, and yeah, that was a different process for sure. Having the team and the interview stuff, it was cool though. I really enjoyed it. And, I really couldn't believe. I think that's what I was most impressed with, and that's what I've told people since how professional everything was. I mean, from like walking into the venue at 2 and just like immediately like somebody would come up like, "Do you need anything? Like, what can I do for you?" And I'm like, what can I do for you guys? Like, I'm just happy that I'm here. Like, this is so cool. So yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and the professionalism that the PGF had. And I mean, Brandon, I feel like he made everybody feel like a professional athlete, which was probably the coolest part.
Come on,
Look,
man. We're
that's
professional as fuck.
but
Dude,
listen, that's
for
honestly
real.
one of the best things about Brandon as a whole. And if you want to say that, then that definitely transfers over to the PGF as a whole. Is that he definitely knows how to make you feel special, right? He knows how to like pick up on what things are important for each person and try to like emphasize that for you and try to help like bring that part out for you and stuff like that. So it's definitely like that's definitely one of his like main strong suits is to make sure the athletes feel taken care of and everybody feels loved and welcomed and stuff. And so that's one of the best parts about the PGF all week. It's just like everybody's really glad to be there. Like you guys are working hard, competing, everybody's putting it on the line, but like it's just like a big like love fest, all
For
around for
sure.
everybody, even though everybody's like trying to get at each other really hard. So that's cool, in another way to hear another person say that because it really is, man. That's one of the main things I think that's pushing this thing forward.
Yeah, it showed. I mean, like I said, every single aspect of the show was professional, and you nailed it. It was, Brandon was running around like not only commentating and doing everything he had to do, but like making sure to come up and check on every athlete, which was that was pretty cool.
How was the team? The team, like the camaraderie. Did you guys get along? Did you not like anybody on your team? Be like, yo, back up.
No, dude, my team was cool. I liked my team. I was really happy, especially like day 1 going into it. I've trained a little bit with Davis at New Wave, and so I was happy to get on his team because it's just like a familiar face, a familiar training partner. Like I've drilled with him before, I've rolled with him before, and so like every day before matches we would warm up together, which was nice. Like I know kind of his cadence, and not that anybody there would, but it was nice to like have the confidence when warming up. Like, okay, this guy's not going to just like pick me up and slam me when we're drilling, because he drills crazy hard. Like, we both know what we're trying to do. We're both trying to get the job done. And like I said, it's somebody that I already knew, like kind of his cadences. So that was awesome. And then everyone else was super cool. I mean, Elijah was cool. Ben was cool. David was cool. Everyone was great. I had no problems really from anyone from any team. Like, I thought everyone was super respectful, super professional. Yeah, I had a great time.
Now, most of the guys, you know, they were staying at a house, but it was not with their team. Did you stay at one of the houses as well?
No, dude, I was in a hotel,
Okay.
which maybe that's why I didn't have any problems with anyone. I don't know that I could have been in a house with all
Straight
those
up.
dudes for that long. I needed my own space, and I was around them
Straight
enough
up.
through the week, so it was nice to be able to go back and chill in my hotel room.
I
Bro,
did that too.
I don't know if I could do that. Like I'm
I
about to
did that
go
too.
murder this dude and that he's sleeping next to me. You know,
Oh,
we
dude.
have a match today.
I texted because I was gonna stay in the house, and then like a couple days before, or the day before, we got like our house assignments, and I was like, oh man, it's not gonna be with the team. Like, it's just gonna be like, are we gonna switch once we get on the
Whack.
team? And then I was there, and I remember like texting BMAC, and I was so nervous. I was like, would it be okay if I like just got a hotel? Like, I was like, am I gonna ruin the show? Like, is there some problem? And he's like, no, dude, do whatever you want. I was like, all right, cool. I'm getting a hotel because I can't. I'm exactly that. Like, I gotta fight this dude tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like cooking dinner. Like, I have no way. I need my space.
I love you, but
Yeah,
not
man.
today.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
I
I
might
did
put some
too. I
shit
got
on
I
your
got my
steak.
own room when I went to. I was like, everybody is at, even people that had rooms at a certain hotel. I even went to a different hotel, and a lot of the guys were my friends too. But I was just like, this is a different kind of thing. I'm trying to go out here and separate some of those feelings. And when I go up and show out here, for these 3 matches every night, I want to not care about that kind of stuff and do my best work. So dude, that's really cool to hear that you made that choice like on your own, even close to the point, because you realized that it was a mental hurdle that you did not want to have to jump every day. And that's something that I think a lot of people wouldn't do or wouldn't think about doing or haven't considered maybe. But for myself, that was definitely something that I considered, because I didn't want to be stuck with everybody in the same place every day all at the same time, because it was already tense enough. There was enough on the line already without that little bit of, man, you're leaving plates out dirty. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be putting them in the dishwasher. That's what the things, or whatever somebody might trip about because I'm in my zone and not thinking about being the
For
best
sure.
human being.
Well, and even just how you walk through competition, right? Everybody's a little bit different. Like, everybody has their own like nerves and nervous energy, whatever they do before they compete. And so just being around a bunch of people before that, it's hard. I mean, I like to have, I know my process. I've been competing long enough to know what works for me and what just doesn't. And especially something like this, I knew the gravity of it. Like, I'm looking at my schedule and it's like, okay, first match right out the gate is PJ Barch. Like, I'm not going to come out here and just like, we'll see what happens. Like, I need to make sure my process is on point because I got to go fight this dude. So, yeah, that was really important to me, to just make sure I did everything, like I said, everything I could control, and it paid off.
Yeah,
No, it definitely paid off, man.
We got a couple of questions out here for you, Nathan. One
All
is from the Daily Triangle, and he wants to know, what's your walk around weight?
He already told us.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, about 190, 195.
That's why I
All
asked
right,
the question earlier.
And then, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I wasn't paying attention to the comment.
Professional baby, what's up? I'm leading the folks' questions into the show. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got to know.
And we have a question as far as your favorite match for season 6.
Good question. Probably the Daniel Saffler match. That one was fun because I watched a lot of Daniel before. Like, he's a dog. He competes hard. I mean, he goes out to fight every time. I like his style, and I was excited on that one too, because it was another one where everyone kind of like you hear like little whispers of like, oh man, like Daniel's got this unknown guy, like he's gonna just go out there and dunk on him like real quick. And so I was really excited to just get out there and get after him really quick and put a pace on him. That was probably the most fun. Even though I didn't get the sub at the end of it, that was a fun match.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
You had lots of really exciting matches, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier through some text. Well, do you want to drop the stats kind of a little bit there? About how you saw it earlier,
How did I see what?
or just like his overall finishing? Like nobody was able to finish
Oh yeah.
you
No, nobody
throughout
tapped
the
you,
whole
bro.
season.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
and there wasn't like a time that I can recall thinking, man, this was a really boring performance by Nathan.
No.
Like
I just
so I thought for sure you got submitted at least once until today when he came back and told me that, because you had so many great matches the whole time. It felt like at least one time somebody must have caught you at least once, because that's just the way the game goes a lot of times. But that's really cool that you fought so hard and like put it on the line like that in every match and still ended up not having to give up any points for the other team. That's huge, man. That probably pays like a big dividends into why you guys were able to like close the deal as a whole.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I went in the season too, like because again, I knew, like I did my research on the previous seasons and kind of watched how they played out. I knew I'm on my team coming in, I was the fifth slot. And so what's expected of the fifth slot, right? Like nobody really expects the fifth slot to score that many points for the team. But the big thing, like for me, right out the gate is like, I will not be a liability for the team. Like I will not be
you're the
guy
stopper.
that just gets like dunked on every single match. And it's like, oh dude, everyone else is like putting up points and you just got subbed. And like, if you got subbed in under a minute, like that's 7 points for this other team. Like those are big numbers. And so I wanted to go out there and put points on the board of my own, but I also, I know that I'm really hard to finish, especially in 6 minutes. 6 minutes is just not a lot of time. And I know that my gas tank can hold up. I can go that long easy. And so, yeah, I didn't want to be a liability. I wanted to put points up, and I was happy to be able to do both.
Do you think that sometimes those 6 minutes also work against you because you might have somebody? There was a couple of times, bro, where if you had like maybe like 10 or 15 more seconds, it was over. You had
for
it.
sure. But yeah, I think that was a little bit too of just being used to, because so most of my stuff was IBJJF coming up, and so like purple belt 7 minutes, brown belt 8 minutes, and then now black belt 10 minutes, and a lot of my matches purple belt, right? 7 minutes. That extra minute makes a big difference. Brown belt 8 minutes, you get used to that pace, and then black belt the 10-minute pace. It's a long time to fight someone, and so I think that played a little bit into it too, where in some spots I should have probably hit the gas a little bit heavier or put a little bit more heat on a submission. I know I had a couple matches where I was on the neck and like the guy bailed and I like went on the arm with like a couple seconds left. It's like, I probably should have gone on the arm a little bit earlier. But yeah, just not being used to that 6 minutes that was a little bit of a change, but we'll fix it this time.
Hell yeah.
With that said, without giving away again, I'm a nerd about this stuff, man. I'm really like, again, competitor by, former trade and still wish I was every day. But, I'm really interested in that process, after those 6 minute rounds. And I felt the same way, dude, coming from like an MMA background at first, where it was like 5 minute rounds, but you're guaranteed to get like 3 of them every time.
Yeah.
Then I went to EBI rounds a bunch to where, like I did the LBJJF rounds too, but then like it was 10 minutes to where then there was overtime. So like you're pretty used to like a different pace and like style of match. Has anything necessarily changed for you? I know you mentioned maybe like the willingness to maybe switch to the counter maybe, or the next thing a little bit sooner to get the tap. Is there anything else you can tell us that you're doing maybe differently now heading into this season with that like 6 minute window?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just focusing on being really sharp with all my kills, and I put a big emphasis on that in the last season too, like everything leading up, because like you said, you prep for some different rule sets. And so there's sometimes where maybe you're training and you're going to go to ADCC trials and you're in a tough round and you pass the dude's guard with like a minute left. And then in your head, you kind of register like, okay, that was a clean pass. If this is a real fight, like I'm up on points. He's not going to get out. I can hold him here. I've won the match. But with PGF in mind, it's like, okay, I might have this really tough round for 5 minutes and then I pass the guy's guard. It doesn't do anything for me. It's a draw. And so I've been really trying to emphasize that of like, where are my kills? How can I get there quicker? And then putting a few new ones in the toolbox, some stuff that people haven't seen, trying to just surprise some guys. So we'll see what we can do this season.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We have another question.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah. It says, "Is your game going to no moving up in a way?" Well, he just kind of answered it
Yeah,
a little bit. He's got some new stuff that he's working on.
Yeah, honestly, what I will do, like, and that's not a secret for anybody. That's going to be a little bit smaller than the guys, just to be faster than them. Like I think that I'm pretty fast as it is. I'm a pretty fast guy, even at 170, 180. And so I think with some of these big boys, I'll be a lot faster than them. And so if I can just put a pace on them, get them a little bit tired, and then we'll go for the kill.
So why are you back for season 7, man? Because I've heard some things, that you really wanted to be in season 7. So what was the main?
You got that check, son.
Listen. I told B-Mac at the end of season 6, I said, "You call, I'm coming," and that's just how it is. I mean, listen, from 170 up, if he calls me, I'm showing up.
Word.
Time, place, wherever. We'll go across the world. I'll go wherever they want. If they'll have me, I'm showing up. If I can make the weight, I'm showing up, and even if it's the big boys. Because again, it's like I said, that whole process of season 6 was so much fun and so professional. And it's like, that's what I work for. I work for those moments. I mean, my match coming off the last season, my very last match was with Kevin Bierig, and, not a lot happened. There was a little bit on the line too of like, we can't lose points to first form. Like if everybody gets a draw, we win the team title. So there's a little bit of like strategy behind it. I knew what I needed to do in that match, and so I didn't hit the gas as much as I would really like to. But it was like a depressing feeling, right? Like coming off the mat, like that's it. Like it's over. Like I'm done. And so when the opportunity for this one came up, like I'm jumping at it. I'm not gonna miss it. I'll go fight the heavyweights, dude. You let me know. I'll hop in.
What's up, son? What's up? I'm ready too. Let's go. Me and you, me and Nathan. We're season 8 heavyweights. Let's go.
Listen, B-Mac, give me a phone call.
Sign us up.
I'll put rocks in my pocket. I'll weigh whatever
Anywhere.
you need me to weigh. Just
Right.
let me in.
I love that.
I mean, that you've done, IBJJF and obviously other tournaments. Do you feel like the PGF is like the evolution of the sport that we needed, to get athletes paid and showcased?
Yeah, for sure. And I like everything, the setup, the venue, the single mat, like everything about it. Cause that's one thing that's tricky with like getting people invested in jiu-jitsu. I feel like even guys that train, oh, guys, come support the team. We're all competing this weekend in wherever at whatever tournament. And you get the question like, well, what time do I show up? It's like, well, it starts at 9, but white belts will probably go, and then they'll do kids, and then they'll do that. And so you never really quite know, like, if you have a team that you want to go support, you just got to go there all day. And then it's like, I don't know what mat. It's hard as like a viewer to go watch that. And what I felt like was really cool about the PGF, I mean, my grandma, like my 80-year-old grandma who doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu, was like staying up every night and like texting me, like, tell Davis that was a really good match. Like he did really good in that. Like she's watching other people. And I get people all the time here come up and tell me like, we watched every single night. And these are people that don't even know the sport of jiu-jitsu. And they were invested because of the format. And so I think that's like the biggest thing is it was viewer friendly. Like, it was fun to watch. It wasn't just like, okay, I'll be up on mat 4 sometime around 8 o'clock. It's like, show starts at this time, and you're going to know the schedule. We're doing these team blocks, and come watch. I thought that was the coolest part.
Hell yeah. Hey, listen. We're changing the game, baby. What's up? Now, we got some news too that somebody in your family is an alternate. Your brother Max.
Dude, so I have breaking news on top of that.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, he can't take the spot. So he
Mm.
had
Oh, dang, we're breaking news.
We're breaking.
breaking news. I know.
I'm gonna scratch him out right here. I'm just like, I'm writing
Dude,
that
it was
off my
gonna be
list.
super
And I
cool.
love you,
We were
Max.
both-
I don't mean that personally.
we were both really excited about it. It was a really cool opportunity, and like, again, like, thanks to Brandon for setting it up. But no, he was like planning on going and doing the qualifier. Like, everything was kind of lining up, getting some training in, and like probably a month ago, he had gotten sick, and like just like a chest congestion, whatever, like bronchitis maybe, and it was all healed up, like back to training. But we had a tournament like 2 weeks after, and so like we were coaching, and we were screaming on the sidelines and stuff, and his voice was completely gone, like nothing. And that was like 4.5, 5 weeks ago. And so all this time, like, his voice just didn't come back. And so we were like, why is his voice not coming back? So he went and got like a scope, and they checked his vocal nodules, and they were super worried about him like having any trauma on the vocal cords. And so they don't want him like speaking for a couple weeks, and they don't want him doing any training for like 6 weeks. So
Wow.
we were a little bit worried coming into, we're a little less than 8 weeks out. And he was like, dude, if I'm not training for 6 weeks before this thing, there's no way I'm taking a spot. And so, I let BMAC know Friday afternoon that he wasn't going to be able to take it, which is a bummer because that would have been really cool, especially if we somehow got on the same team. But he'll be out of this one, unfortunately.
All right.
Man.
Hypothetical question.
Sorry to hear that, man. That's really terrible for you and for Max especially. I really hate to hear that, and hopefully he has a full recovery very soon,
Yeah.
and,
Yes,
and
sir.
beyond whatever else is going on with that kind of stuff, man, because anything like that is kind of scary, something that's permanent.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Now I feel like a jerk for not saying that.
No, I just I'm sorry, man. I
You're
just,
all good, dude.
watching some of the football stuff this weekend, that dude got that concussion.
Oh yeah, no, that's true, man.
The kind of health and safety thing about athletes is something that's big on my heart all the time, and always has been, since I've started. Because there's a big lack of care in a lot of situations for the athletes from people who are promoting shows and making lots of money off the athletes, and that's one of the big reasons I've thrown so much of myself into this thing that we're doing, is because I don't feel like this is trying to be that. I feel like this is trying to be something else, and is being something else up to every time. So the health and safety of the athletes as an athlete is something that's very paramount to me. And like brain trauma or anything, health related that may, permanently, mess up someone's ability to live their normal life, man. That's something we all should respect, and definitely like give it a little pause to, and just not be the normal crowd that's like talking crazy about people. Sorry, and I don't mean to make you feel bad, Wallow. I just wanted to make sure that was said.
Listen.
As our representative of the show. Yeah,
and we got the human touch, bro. We got the human touch here. That's what makes us different, right? We're not your typical just parody stuff. Now we got that emotional side too, and not true. Like yeah, man. Just to emphasize what Dream was saying, dude. Nothing but good vibes here, brother, because that is scary.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you.
We practice strangulation all the time, man.
Well, that was the big thing with it all, where I was like, it just doesn't make sense, especially like you literally could get in a choke right away, and then
immediately,
especially if you're going to go right back to hard training and have like 2 weeks, you're going to just be ramping everything up. So he'll be good. I know he's going to make a good recovery, and then hopefully, if another opportunity like this comes up, we'll make sure we're in there.
Heck yeah, man.
Well,
Thank you, man.
maybe the next 205 season. I mean, we have
Listen,
what?
Any season.
155.
I told you 170 and up, man. We'll be there.
Let's
we
go.
get the call. We're going.
There you go.
All right. So I'm going to ask you the hypothetical question now.
Okay.
If your brother had made it in and not being on the same team,
Oh God.
and somehow you two had to clash, were you going to break him off?
Dude, I told B-Mac because I texted him when he was going to go to the qualifier. Like I wanted to just double check if it was okay. Like I didn't want him to go and then like do really well and then B-Mac be like, dude, your brother's already in this. Like I didn't know if there'd be some like issue with it. So I just shot him a text like, hey, is it cool if he competes in this? And I was like, if he makes it in the season and we have to fight each other, we'll fight till the death, like promised. So we would scrap hard. It would probably be a super exciting match too, because he literally tries to kill me every time we fight. When we were kids, so like I started jiu-jitsu when I was 6. He was 9. And so we always like, sort of trained. And when I don't think we were able to spar with each other until I was like 16, because every single time it would end in like a major fist fight or like one of us crying or one of us like, I'm quitting jiu-jitsu, because we would just straight fight every single time. Like I remember the exact day where we like were in the gym and there was no one else to roll with. And we were like, can we just spar and not fight? And like we had a good sparring round and we were like, oh, this is cool. And like since then, he's one of my favorite training partners. Like I train with my brother all the time. But when we were kids, it was a battle to the death every time. So I told B-Mac it would have been an exciting one if it happened.
Damn it. Oh, we got robbed. Possibly.
Possibly, but we could have been on the same team, so that would have been
That's true. That would have been cool too, as well.
for sure.
Trying to share that bag if your team won it.
Yeah, see, maybe that would have been the other thing. Maybe he'd be on the other team, and then we got like a 50-50. So one of our teams just got to win.
Yeah, for sure. We lost Stream.
He'll be back.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So another hypothetical, right? Just throwing these out there. So let's say, you and your brother have this match, like in college football, right? Like, we have bowl season. Would you guys have like mom's favorite bowl, but in the PGF, like the first bowl of the PGF history is whoever's mom's favorite? Like, I mean, I think it'd be like an exceptional idea.
That would be funny. We'd have to like, if he was in and we knew we were going to have to fight, we would have had to like fly her out just to have her like sitting front row. Just to see, because I'm sure she would have been a nervous wreck and like trying to make sure nobody got hurt. It'd be kind of fun.
Is your pops coming again or what?
Yeah. My dad's gonna come out. It'll be cool. I think he's gonna come out like the first night of competition this time, because last time he came like midway through, and so this time I think he's gonna come out like the day after the draft. So yeah, he'll be
hell
out there
yeah.
with me.
By any chance, have you seen that awesome, amazing belt that is up for grabs?
Dude, I need that thing. That is freaking awesome. Yeah, I saw it when Brandon posted on his story, and yeah, they did a great job with that belt. It is sweet.
Hell yeah, that's just a little bit more incentive too. Hey, we're gonna give you some cash, but we also gonna give you this nice belt for you to take home.
I know, dude. The last one too, I feel like they didn't pull it out until like they wrapped it around Andy, and I saw that thing. I was like, dang, that's super, super nice. Not that you needed any more incentive to go win other than, $20,000 more. But the belt was pretty sweet. So yeah, I gotta get that one this season.
Hell yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
missed that.
The what? What happened?
Sorry, I had to jump out. I had some, you know how it is, kids and bedtimes and baths and showers. I heard some noise and I was like, I had to go, make sure the kingdom was not in peril as I was in here talking to you gentlemen.
For sure. Before we let you go, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you, and if they like to, come train with you, where they can come train with you, if they want to book you for a seminar,
Absolutely.
where can they find you?
Man, my Instagram is just my name, Nathan Haddad, and then underscore. We have a gym here in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you guys ever come through Kentucky, it's called Core Combat Sports. I teach here full time, so we got a lot going on. Really good jiu-jitsu program. If anybody ever wants to come out, we love having visitors. Anybody ever wants to come train, and then we have an online channel as well. So we're on YouTube. It's called Core Pro BJJ. And then I have like my online curriculum and stuff on there as well. It's coreprobjj.com. So I put like everything I got jiu-jitsu wise, from white to black belt on there. So it's a pretty good site.
Right on. Steven, any final thoughts before we go?
Man, super good to have you on here, talk to you a little bit more and catch up with you like in person, or not in person, but as a person and not just some athlete in the week in the season. One thing I really liked, man, was getting to talk to your dad and seeing how y'all's relationship was there in person and stuff like that, how supportive he was and stuff. So, knowing that your brother also trains and competes and you guys have such a cool like situation going on with all that stuff, man, I'm really hyped and I'm excited to see you guys be a part of this thing, man, because it just feels like you're supposed to be. So man, I'm really excited to see you again coming up in November here in Vegas, man. Let's get it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's all coming together. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys out there. It's going to be a good time.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate Nathan joining us and hanging out and shooting the crap with us. And we'll catch you next week. Adios,
Thank you, guys.
muchachos. Hasta luego.